So do you drive much in the city?
You know, not too often, but now that the streets have been a lot emptier, I feel that I've been able to, especially on the nice days. It's actually really nice to get out and move around the city. When I was 18, I wrote a letter to myself that I would have an apartment or I have a place in New York by the time I was 30, and I signed and moved into my place June 13th when I was 29 years old.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so just a few months before my 30th birthday, so that was a big, really, like I said earlier, I'm my toughest critic, but that was a time in my life where I kind of gave myself a pat on the back and said, that was a cool thing and a long-term goal that you attain. That was pretty fun.
Why big cities? If not New York, it was LA. What do you enjoy about big cities where they've been your kind of off-season home?
Some of the best advice I ever got was from, mentioned the old school players, Kevin McHale. He was my general manager to start. He traded for me on draft night and also became my coach about 20, 25 games into my rookie season. So for me, it was, he said, chase the game and everything you love will chase you back. So that's really what I did with basketball. I chased it, and that was really the case. So for here in New York and Los Angeles as well, I felt there was the best trainers. If we ever wanted to play 5-on-5, this is where some of the best players live.
Give me some New York driving tips, because
just move, and it's going to be minimal spacing. I mentioned basketball being a game of inches. This is kind of like, you see me just taking the middle of the lane here. Nobody's really going to honk at me, and you got to use the horn. Yeah, why not take 2 lanes?
You feeling safe back there?
Take up space.
Oh yeah.
So how much different is the traffic situation now relative to pre-COVID?
So much different, just because you don't have so many people coming in and out, because this is such an international hub. Whether you're flying out of the 3 major airports, the private airports, you're just not getting as many people here from out of the states that are traveling here, and tourism is obviously down, and people aren't able to move either domestically or otherwise. So I would say it's a lot easier to move around here and a lot more fun to drive here when it's probably 30-40% less people. But you'll see as we walk down the West Side Highway that there's a lot of people outside, a lot of people getting their steps in, a lot of people running, walking their dogs. You'll see me walking vestry. So
where are the areas you spend the most time around town, if not where you live?
I would say a lot of wherever the great restaurants are.
Oh yeah, because you live to eat. That's your famous
Some people
line.
that eat to live, some people that live to eat. You can look and see when I was in my younger years, especially throughout high school and my early 20s, I had a tough time putting the fork down. Part of the reason I trained so hard as well is for that, because I was always taught, if you win, you eat. So you put in,
motivation to work out hard.
I'm like my dog. I'm motivated by food.
So you've kind of gotten into photography recently, right?
I have. It's something that I was around when I was young. My father had, pictures of, Muhammad Ali. Naturally, he was around the Beach Boys and rock and roll. He was around the NBA. So I've been able to work with and become friends with a lot of great photographers. That's actually how Kate and I met. My art collection, I try and, really look at just different photographers that either speak to me or, you look in the past and it tells a story and kind of, see how far we've come, like Gordon Parks, the first Black or African-American photographer in Time magazine. I have one of his pieces in my collection, and it's just amazing to kind of see, how far we've come, but also, with the social injustice that's still going on, how that storytelling and how current it is right now. It's just, really an unbelievable thing, and I think that's what the power of photography can be. So he's just one of the many that I look to and draw inspiration from.
How do you view, on the social injustice front, everything that's been going on this off season?
Well, I think it's just unjust, it's unfair, and it's unreasonable what's been going on. But this has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years. So it's, you know, the only way a movement is going to happen related to the same thing to mental health is if we continue to have these tough conversations and continue to make change. I'm really excited actually for where or how we are going to change coming out of this, because I really truly believe the worst thing that can happen is if we remained unchanged. It's been such a divisive time, and you know, throughout all this, it's been scary. There's been COVID, and then you have everything that's going on with social injustice and how, you know, Black people in America have been treated, and for that matter around the world. You have you know, the wildfires that have, you know, ravaged through, you know, my home in Portland, Oregon, and the rest of Oregon, the West Coast and California, all the way up through Washington. That unity that we could have coming out of this could be extremely special.